Nicola's father is Nelson Peltz. You can even see Brooklyn in a picture here in the Google search. And Nicola and Elon Musk. He's worth
What does $1 million a month even mean to him?
For years, the Beckham family seemed like the ultimate dream come true. All smiles, designer outfits, fancy events, and that effortless vibe of wealth and perfection. But now, that flawless picture is starting to crack wide open. The shine is fading, and the truth behind those glamorous doors is finally spilling out for the world to see. At the heart of the drama, Brooklyn Beckham, his wife Nicola Peltz, and her billionaire dad, Nelson Peltz. Sources close to the family claim Nelson never fully thought Brooklyn was the right one for his daughter, and that quiet doubt slowly turned into chilly exchanges and tense whispers behind the scenes. What started as polite family dinners has reportedly turned into awkward silences and stiff smiles that no one can fake anymore. After years of trying to keep everything picture perfect, things have exploded. Reports say legal notes are being exchanged, frosty statements are being shared, and that once warm family energy has completely turned cold. This isn't just a small misunderstanding, it's serious tension, and people close to them say it's gone way beyond repair. Now no one's even trying to act like everything's fine. The polished mask has slipped, revealing cracks that can't be ignored anymore.
Nicola Peltz is reportedly getting $1 million a month from her dad, Nelson Peltz, which sounds like a ton of money, but remember, her dad is a billionaire. So how much does $1 million a month even mean to him? And how did he get so rich that even the Beckhams look budget in comparison?
And the question on everyone's mind, has Brooklyn finally decided to walk his own path and break free from all the pressure? Or is Brooklyn getting drawn deeper into the powerful Peltz circle, the one that quietly controls things behind those camera-ready smiles and emotional posts? There's a major clash happening here, packed with loyalty struggles, power moves, and questions about who's really calling the shots in this high-profile storm. When Brooklyn decided to take things public and post that long, emotional message aimed straight at his parents, everything exploded. He didn't hold back for a second. He went straight for the truth as he saw it. Brooklyn Beckham openly called out David and Victoria Beckham, accusing them of twisting the narrative to protect their image instead of standing by him. He claimed they cared more about keeping their brand perfect than about supporting their own son, and that they repeatedly disrespected his wife, Nicola Peltz. This wasn't just a simple family disagreement. This turned into a public showdown that no PR team on earth could fix. Brooklyn wasn't hinting or dropping vague messages. He was saying everything loud and clear for millions to see. He was done playing nice, done pretending everything was okay, and done trying to keep the family image spotless. There was no sugarcoating, no half-truths, and absolutely no room for pretending this was just a misunderstanding. Every single word in that post hit hard. It sounded intentional, emotional, and unfiltered. No quiet edits, no cleanup plan. Just pure conviction for the world to watch unfold. And right when everyone thought he might step back, Brooklyn doubled down even harder. No hesitation, no second guessing, no middle ground. Every shot at a calm family talk was completely gone.
How's married life treating you guys?
Oh my God, it is so much fun. You know, marrying your best mate is just, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, people always say you should marry your best friend.
It's true. It's the best advice, yeah. We feel like we're on like a play date forever.
Any door leading to peace got slammed shut for good. What really stunned fans wasn't just what Brooklyn said, it was how final it all sounded. There was no hint of "we'll figure it out," no soft PR lines to calm things down, just a cold, straight-to-the-point message that left everyone staring at their screens in shock. But this story doesn't stop there. It actually takes a wild twist. Insiders close to the Beckhams claim that post didn't just appear out of nowhere. Something serious must have happened behind the scenes before Brooklyn ever hit that post button. Reports say David and Victoria Beckham had privately reached out to their son with a personal letter, not through social media, not through anyone else, but sent directly to him. The reason? Communication between them had completely broken down. This wasn't just an argument anymore. They were barely even talking at all. The silence between them was heavy, and it seemed the situation had gone way too far. And then came the shocking part. Brooklyn allegedly responded with a formal notice demanding that his parents stop mentioning him publicly and that any contact be handled only through official channels. That move changed everything. In that single moment, the situation went from quiet family tension to a full-on legal standoff. The whole thing sent waves through the entire Beckham circle. No one could believe how far it had gone. But insiders say the real blow wasn't the legal paperwork itself. It was what David and Victoria believed was happening behind the scenes. What really shattered them was the idea that Brooklyn might not have made those decisions on his own. People close to the family claimed the Beckhams were convinced that there were bigger influences involved, that Nicola Peltz and her powerful inner circle, especially her billionaire dad Nelson Peltz, might have played a major role in pushing things that far. That suspicion reportedly hit hard, adding a whole new level of mistrust to an already fragile bond. And then came the Beckhams' response, a letter that surprised everyone. It wasn't harsh, it wasn't defensive, and it didn't try to show control or power. Insiders say it was deeply emotional, a raw, heartfelt message from two parents reaching out with pure concern. No threats, no demands, no guilt trips, just honest words from a mom and dad who wanted to know their son was all right. It was the kind of letter that showed no matter how complicated things had become, David and Victoria still held on to a small piece of hope that maybe they could reconnect with Brooklyn someday. Their message wasn't about blame or reputation. It was about family, forgiveness, and wanting just one sign that everything hadn't completely fallen apart. How's married life treating you two? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You know, marrying your best friend, it's just the best. People always say it's the right move, and honestly, it's true. It feels like we're on one long, fun date that never ends. But instead of calming things down, that sweet moment just seemed to make the situation even more intense. Only a few days later, Brooklyn went public again, this time with a bold, emotional post that left no room for confusion. He wasn't stepping back, not even a little. He said he was finally standing up for himself and pushing back against the talk that Nicola was the one controlling things. His message was fiery, emotional, and straight up fearless. There was no hidden meaning, no subtle hint. Brooklyn was clear about where he stood. This drama had officially turned into a full-on public showdown that had everyone watching closely. He clapped back hard, saying the whole story had been twisted and taken way out of context. Brooklyn insisted Nicola wasn't behind any of it. Instead, he pointed right back at his parents, saying they had tried to steer his life for too long. He made it clear that part of his life was over for good. He said he was choosing his own path now, one built on independence, freedom, and total control of his future. But here's where things start to get complicated. While Brooklyn keeps saying he's finally living his way, plenty of critics are raising eyebrows and questioning if that's really true. But instead of calming things down, that sweet moment just seemed to make the situation even more intense. Only a few days later, Brooklyn went public again, this time with a bold, emotional post that left no room for confusion. He wasn't stepping back, not even a little. He said he was finally standing up for himself and pushing back against the talk that Nicola was the one controlling things. His message was fiery, emotional, and straight up fearless. There was no hidden meaning, no subtle hint. Brooklyn was clear about where he stood. This drama had officially turned into a full-on public showdown that had everyone watching closely. He clapped back hard, saying the whole story had been twisted and taken way out of context. Brooklyn insisted Nicola wasn't behind any of it. Instead, he pointed right back at his parents, saying they had tried to steer his life for too long. He made it clear that part of his life was over for good. He said he was choosing his own path now, one built on independence, freedom, and total control of his future. But here's where things start to get complicated. While Brooklyn keeps saying he's finally living life his way, plenty of critics are raising eyebrows and questioning if that's really true. People are now pointing out something that's hard to ignore. Every move Brooklyn has made since stepping away from his parents seems to line up perfectly with that same powerful circle people have been whispering about for months. And that's the twist keeping this whole family tension alive, the contradiction that just won't fade away. Ever since everything went public, Brooklyn Beckham's world seems completely wrapped around the Peltz family. He's part of their scene now, showing up at exclusive events, mingling with top names, and, according to reports, keeping a serious distance from David and Victoria. The gap between them isn't just emotional anymore, it's visible, polished, and impossible to hide from the public eye. Sources close to the situation claim Brooklyn doesn't directly talk to his parents anymore. Every message reportedly goes through intermediaries, and that tiny detail has sparked non-stop whispers that this whole thing has gone way beyond an average family disagreement. At this point, it's looking less like a misunderstanding and more like a power clash between two strong families, both standing their ground and refusing to back off. And the moment that keeps coming up, the one everyone says might have started this entire storm, is the wedding. More specifically, that now famous first dance that's still being talked about in private circles. Even years later, people can't stop debating what really went down that night and whether that moment marked the beginning of everything that followed. Brooklyn has reportedly shared that during what was supposed to be a private romantic moment with Nicola Peltz on their wedding day, his mom, Victoria Beckham, unexpectedly stepped onto the dance floor and took over. He says it completely caught him off guard and left him feeling uncomfortable in front of a room full of elite guests. According to Brooklyn's version of events, that single moment hit Nicola really hard, so much that she left the room in tears right after it happened. And while some brushed it off as a small wedding hiccup, insiders believe that emotional moment might have been the spark that lit up the entire family tension that followed. People who were there remember that night differently, but there's one thing everyone agrees on. The energy in that room changed instantly. What started as a glamorous celebration meant to unite two powerful families suddenly felt divided right down the middle. The smiles faded, the whispers started, and the air turned thick with tension. Instead of staying focused on love and connection, that one unexpected dance seemed to shift everything. It became more than just a moment. It was the point where things started to fall apart. What should have been a beautiful, lasting memory turned into the moment that marked a permanent change between them. Even guests who tried to stay neutral later admitted it. Something about that night felt off, and the ripple effect from that single dance still hasn't faded. The tension that night wasn't really about music, timing, or wedding traditions. It ran much deeper than that. This was about control, boundaries, and who truly held the spotlight when all eyes were watching. At its core, that dance wasn't just a small slip-up on the dance floor. It was a silent clash of emotion, pride, and unspoken power that everyone in the room could feel. What looked like a simple mother and son moment that went slightly off track was actually something far more intense, a quiet showdown over space, respect, and who really had the final say. People there could sense the tension in the air. It was almost impossible to ignore. For Nicola Peltz, that night reportedly became the turning point, the moment she decided there was no going back. Insiders say once the wedding wrapped up, her stance became clear as day. She wasn't backing down anymore, and her position in the family was firmly set. According to those close to the situation, Brooklyn Beckham suddenly found himself in an impossible spot, trying to keep the peace with his mother while also standing strong beside his wife. From that night forward, everyone knew exactly where his loyalty stood. Nicola's father, billionaire Nelson Peltz, was fully in the picture too. You can even find photos online showing Brooklyn right beside Nicola and Nelson at major events. Brooklyn's choice was made. He stood by Nicola completely, with zero hesitation and no looking back. What followed was a long stretch of cold silence that spoke louder than any public statement ever could. Invitations went unanswered, family gatherings were quietly skipped, and communication between both sides came to a complete stop. The divide had become impossible to hide. According to insiders, Nicola has stood her ground ever since, refusing to attend any event where David or Victoria Beckham might be present. The warmth and closeness that once defined the Beckham family's image has now been replaced by distance, formality, and complete silence. A chill that still hasn't faded. Whether people see Nicola's choice as protecting her peace or making a bold power move depends entirely on who you ask. But one thing is undeniable, and the results speak for themselves, and they're impossible to overlook. Brooklyn Beckham, once seen as the golden child of one of the world's most famous families, now stands nearly cut off from the very people who raised him. That picture-perfect image of the Beckhams, united, polished, and glamorous, has visibly cracked, and the world is watching it happen in real time. Meanwhile, Nicola continues to move confidently in the spotlight, seemingly unbothered and focused on her own world. But the real power player behind all of this isn't Nicola or Brooklyn. It's her father, Nelson Peltz. A billionaire with deep influence and quiet authority, Nelson doesn't need interviews or online posts to make things happen. He's known for playing the long game, calm, strategic, and always one step ahead. People close to him described Nelson as the type of person who can change the mood of a room without even speaking. He observes everything from the sidelines, letting others make the noise, while he plans his next move in silence. According to several reports, Nelson Peltz was never completely convinced that Brooklyn Beckham was the ideal match for his daughter Nicola. Sources claim he quietly brushed off Brooklyn's constant career changes, from photography to cooking to lifestyle branding, calling him scattered and lacking clear direction. There were no harsh comments or public criticism, just that calm, silent doubt that can sting even more than words. And when someone with Nelson's level of wealth and influence has doubts, it carries serious weight. In his world, every glance, every quiet remark, and every subtle move holds power, the kind of influence that can shift entire situations without ever needing to be spoken aloud. That quiet skepticism reportedly hung in the air, shaping the energy between the two families long before anyone noticed. Because this wasn't just about personal approval, it was about control, image, and influence. Insiders say Nelson's opinion mattered more than most people realized, and it wasn't just emotional tension at play. It was strategic. His influence stretches far beyond the headlines, and when he's not convinced, people tend to take notice. And here's the part that reportedly raised even more eyebrows. Before the wedding even happened, a strict prenuptial agreement was said to have been finalized and locked down tight. That single document set the tone for everything that came after. A clear sign that this union wasn't just about romance, but about protecting serious wealth, legacy, and power. The terms were crystal clear, strict, and completely non-negotiable. According to reports, if the marriage ever ended, Brooklyn wouldn't receive a single cent from the massive Peltz family fortune. The only things he'd keep would be what he and Nicola built together during their time as a couple. Nothing extra, no secret perks, and absolutely no financial safety net. That clause made people stop and take notice, not just because of the money, but because of what it seemed to reveal beneath the surface: control, power, and who truly holds influence in this relationship. Insiders say this wasn't only about protecting wealth, it was about drawing a clear line, defining boundaries, and making it known where the authority stands. Because if Brooklyn and Nicola's marriage were ever to fall apart, the impact wouldn't just be emotional, it could affect every part of his life, from his public image to his independence. With his ties to David and Victoria Beckham already strained, Brooklyn wouldn't just risk losing his marriage, he could also be left without his old support system, without backup, and without the comfort that once came from being part of the Beckham legacy. And that's the part that reportedly keeps David and Victoria deeply worried. The thought that their son may have unknowingly given away control of his own future. For any parent, that's a heavy and heartbreaking thing to imagine. The idea that one decision, made in the name of love, might have quietly changed everything for his son is something that still hangs over the family to this day. Watching your child slowly drift further away, connected to a world that might not be there to protect him when things get tough, that's the thought insiders say has haunted David and Victoria Beckham ever since the tension began. That quiet worry hasn't left their minds for a single day. It lingers constantly, even while they keep up their flawless public image and continue living under the spotlight. Behind the glam and the headlines, that sadness reportedly sits heavy, a quiet ache that never really fades. But despite all the chaos, distance, and emotional fallout, people close to the Beckhams insist there's still one thing that hasn't changed. The door home is always open. Sources say David and Victoria would welcome Brooklyn back without hesitation. No conditions, no scripted apology, no cameras, and no drama. Just love, plain and simple. The kind of love only parents can offer. Unconditional, no matter how complicated things have gotten. But Brooklyn's position? It couldn't be clearer. He's made it known he has no regrets about anything he said or done. He believes he finally spoke his truth and did what he needed to do to protect himself and his peace. To him, it wasn't betrayal. It was about standing up for his own identity. And from everything he's shown, he's not stepping back for anyone. Meanwhile, the rest of the Beckham family has kept moving forward. His siblings are thriving, careers are growing, and the Beckham name continues to shine, running like a perfectly managed brand that just doesn't slow down. Everything looks picture perfect on the surface, polished, strong, unstoppable, except for one painful detail everyone notices but never says out loud. That missing piece in the Beckham story is impossible to ignore. And now, voices from Brooklyn's past are starting to resurface. People who knew him long before the fame, the luxury, and long before Nicola Peltz ever came into the picture. What they're saying has everyone talking, and it's sparking some serious questions. They're asking whether the freedom Brooklyn keeps defending is really freedom at all, or if it's just another kind of control that he might not even recognize. And one of the most unexpected voices to speak up didn't come from Hollywood, fashion, or the influencer world. It came from somewhere totally different: the football field. Brooklyn's former youth coach from Queen's Park Rangers finally decided to speak out, breaking years of silence, and what he shared hit way harder than anyone expected. He didn't take sides, he didn't defend David or Victoria, and he didn't blindly back Brooklyn either. Instead, he shared something more real, a perspective that painted a complicated picture of the Beckham world. According to Brooklyn's former coach, the Beckham lifestyle might have looked flawless from the outside, full of fame, opportunity, and smiles. But behind those glossy photos and red carpet moments, things weren't always as perfect as they seemed. There was pressure, expectation, and a weight that came with carrying one of the most famous last names in the world. He described Brooklyn's childhood as one filled with pressure, constant attention, and emotional distance, a life that looked golden from the outside, but often felt heavy beneath the surface. The coach explained that even as a young teen, Brooklyn carried the Beckham name like a duty, not a privilege. He was always expected to live up to the legacy his parents had built, even when he just wanted to be a regular kid. According to the coach, Brooklyn had full-time security from as early as 14 years old, always being watched, always protected, but never truly free. Fame and success may have brought luxury and comfort, but they also came with expectations that kept growing higher and higher. Every move, every photo, every small mistake was under a microscope, and perfection wasn't just encouraged, it was expected. That kind of constant pressure left little room for Brooklyn to just live normally or make harmless teenage mistakes without it turning into headlines. Those honest comments cracked the glossy Beckham image in a way no magazine ever could. For the first time, people started to see that the tension didn't begin with Brooklyn's marriage or the recent family distance. It started years earlier, building quietly under all that glamour and public attention. Even for someone used to coaching kids from well-known families, the coach admitted that certain memories from Brooklyn's youth still felt heavy to think about, moments that made it clear the pressure behind the fame was much more intense than anyone on the outside could imagine. He didn't accuse anyone or point fingers, he just shared what he saw. But his message came through powerfully. Brooklyn Beckham didn't grow up like most kids. That kind of upbringing, full of pressure, attention, and constant public eyes, may have left Brooklyn more vulnerable than anyone ever realized, exposed to outside opinions, constant judgment, and the growing belief that the only way to truly protect his peace was to distance himself completely. And here's where the story takes a sharp, uncomfortable turn. When you strip away the headlines, emotions, and drama, one truth stands loud and clear. Nicola Peltz didn't leave her world to join Brooklyn's. Brooklyn left his to join hers. Nicola stayed firmly rooted in her powerful circle, surrounded by her tight-knit family and strong support system. She never gave up her independence or control. Meanwhile, Brooklyn stepped away from everything that once defined him, the Beckham lifestyle, the public spotlight that followed him everywhere, and even the family structure that helped shape his name. That shift is what's got people whispering behind the scenes, asking who really made the bigger sacrifice, who truly holds the power, and who's quietly running the show in this love story. Because while Nicola has kept her steady, grounded, and secure, Brooklyn appears to have drifted further and further from the foundation he grew up with. Bit by bit, he's traded the comfort and protection of the Beckham legacy for a new life completely centered around the Peltz family. Every event, every appearance, every major decision now seems tied to that powerful circle. According to insiders, Brooklyn's entire emotional world now revolves around one place: the Peltz home, the Peltz name, and the influence that comes with being part of that empire. That shift didn't just change Brooklyn's lifestyle, it completely flipped the balance of power in his life. And now people are asking the tough question: can Brooklyn ever truly find his way back to balance again? Because at this point, it's not about blame or weakness anymore, it's about isolation. When one person or one powerful family becomes your entire source of identity, comfort, and belonging, it transforms everything around you. Influence doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It's not always loud or demanding. Sometimes it works quietly, moving in the background, shaping choices without anyone even noticing until it's too late. And that's exactly what's making people uneasy about this whole situation, because that kind of quiet control, the kind that doesn't shout or push, can sometimes be the most powerful of all. It seeps in slowly, changing decisions and emotions from the inside out, while everything on the surface still looks calm and picture-perfect. Amid all the headlines, rumors, and endless speculation, one person has stayed completely silent through it all. Nelson Peltz. No public statements, no social media defense of his son-in-law, no interviews addressing the family situation, just absolute silence. But when it comes to Nelson, silence isn't random, it's strategy. Every move he makes is deliberate and calculated. Those who know his world describe him as sharp, highly disciplined, and completely unfazed by the fame and attention that swirl around his family. According to several reports, Nelson views Brooklyn as talented and naturally charming, but still too uncertain about what he really wants. A young man with potential, yes, but one who hasn't quite locked in a clear focus or long-term direction yet. Some insiders even say Nelson quietly believes Brooklyn relies on the Beckham name more than he realizes, treating it like a safety net instead of fully building something solid of his own. And when someone like Nelson, a man whose wealth and power reach far beyond the world of entertainment, forms an opinion like that, it doesn't just fade into the background, it starts shaping private conversations, influencing expectations, and even guiding subtle decisions behind those grand estates. That kind of perception might not seem fair, but in the world of incredible wealth, image, and influence, perception often becomes reality. Because when serious money and reputation are involved, what people think can hold even more power than what's actually true. Insiders say Nelson's quiet doubts about Brooklyn haven't disappeared, they've only grown stronger with time. The distance between Brooklyn and his parents has reportedly deepened, adding more fuel to the tension that already exists. And in high-profile circles where reputation is everything, that kind of family divide doesn't exactly signal strength or stability. Instead, it leaves people wondering what's really going on behind the polished public smiles, and whether Brooklyn is trying to stand on his own or still living in the shadow of bigger, stronger names. It's starting to raise real concerns. In those elite circles, cutting ties with your own family isn't seen as bold or independent, it's seen as risky, even unstable. Behind closed doors, it sparks quiet whispers, subtle questions, and red flags about loyalty, judgment, and long-term reliability. And in that kind of high-status world, moves like that never go unnoticed. But there's another part of this story shaping how people see Brooklyn, his ongoing struggle to define himself career-wise. From photography to cooking, from lifestyle content to creative projects, Brooklyn seems to reinvent himself every few months with something new, a different focus, a new rollout, a new dream. To the public, that might look like confidence and ambition, someone exploring creativity with no limits. But to insiders, especially those close to the Peltz family, it reportedly raises questions about direction and consistency. They're wondering whether Brooklyn is still searching for what truly fits him, or if he's just trying to find something that finally sticks. While David Beckham built his empire on discipline, focus, and years of hard work, Brooklyn's path looks a lot more unpredictable, a mix of trial and error, constant reinvention, and projects that sometimes fade as quickly as they appear. For a family like the Peltz clan, who value precision, control, and order above everything else, Brooklyn's unpredictability doesn't exactly fit their style. Insiders say this isn't just about career choices or creative freedom. It's about stability, structure, and image, the very things that define their world. In a circle where every move is planned and every appearance counts, Brooklyn's constant reinventions have become both his biggest mystery and his biggest gamble. That kind of unpredictability makes powerful people uneasy, especially in elite spaces where reputation and consistency mean everything. The contrast between the Beckham and Peltz families couldn't be more striking, and it runs much deeper than most people realize. On one side, there's the Beckham legacy, built on loyalty, unity, and a kind of long-term dedication that spanned generations. David and Victoria worked for decades to shape their empire through discipline, teamwork, and consistency. On the other side, there's the Peltz dynasty, a world driven by results, strategy, and influence. In that space, emotions don't guide decisions, power and precision do. Every move is intentional, every partnership calculated, and every relationship measured for impact. And caught right in the middle of these two powerhouse families stands Brooklyn Beckham, trying to define his own identity while being pulled in two completely different directions. It's no longer just family tension, it's deep friction that's locked in tight. Sources close to Nelson Peltz say Nelson has never been entirely convinced that Brooklyn adds enough real value to their world. Not in finances, not in business strategy, and not even symbolically. For someone operating at Nelson's level, everything is about contribution and influence. In Nelson's world, love and charm are nice to have, but real value comes from influence, control, and proven results. And that's exactly where the imbalance between these two powerful families becomes impossible to ignore. Sources close to David and Victoria Beckham say this shift in their son didn't happen all at once. It crept in slowly, quietly, until one day it was impossible to miss. They started noticing small changes first. Decisions Brooklyn once made on his own suddenly needed to be double-checked elsewhere. Conversations that used to feel natural began sounding filtered, cautious, like every word had been pre-approved before being spoken. Then, things reportedly started getting colder. Private family discussions began involving legal advisors, and boundaries became tighter. That easy warmth and closeness that once defined the Beckhams slowly began to fade away. According to those close to the family, Brooklyn wasn't always distant or guarded. He used to be open, talkative, and genuinely proud to carry the Beckham name. He'd laugh, share freely, and show real connection with his parents. But over time, that version of him started slipping away, replaced by someone more careful, more measured, and far more strategic in how he spoke and acted. People who've watched the situation unfold say it feels like Brooklyn been reshaped by a whole new kind of influence, one that values control and precision over openness and warmth. He didn't always see his parents as the issue, and he didn't rewrite his past from the start, but somewhere along the way, his tone changed. His words started sounding less like his own, and more like they were coming from a different place entirely. And along with that change, the story Brooklyn started telling about where he came from began to sound completely different. Suddenly, the version of events he shared didn't match what his family remembered, and that's where the confusion really began. Brooklyn, though, has completely rejected that claim. He's made it clear that the version of events spreading online is, in his words, totally untrue from top to bottom. According to him, the version making the rounds doesn't reflect his life at all, and he's standing firm on that, no matter what's being said. Still, the timing of it all has people looking closer, because the closer Brooklyn grew to Nicola Peltz and her world, the more distant he seemed from David and Victoria, and that shift hasn't been unnoticed, not from fans, not from the media, and definitely not from those who know the family personally. It's a change that's impossible to ignore. But here's what makes this family story even more telling. It's not just about who's involved, it's about whose isn't. Brooklyn's siblings have stayed tightly connected to their parents, still sharing family moments, celebrating milestones, and showing public support without hesitation. Their bond hasn't cracked. If anything, it looks stronger than ever. That contrast says it all. While one part of the Beckham family seems fractured, the rest have stayed close, steady, and united, holding on to the image of love and loyalty that made them so admired in the first place. And that difference has sparked a wave of speculation about what's really going on here. People are starting to wonder if this isn't just a family disagreement, but something much deeper, something personal to Brooklyn himself. What really pushed him away? Was it influence, emotion, or a choice he fully stands by? What do you think about this whole situation? Do you believe Brooklyn is just finding his own path? Or is there more to the story than we're being told? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that dig deeper into the drama behind the headlines.